And the uniforms that you had, they were jungle issue uniforms, or
yes, jungle fatigues of amazingly thick material. They were pretty warm, actually, with long sleeves. And I was grateful for the long sleeves because when you go through elephant grass, every exposed bit of skin gets slowly the death by 1,000 cuts. Well, you don't die from 1,000 paper cuts, and that's what a elephant grass cut feels like. You can grab it and pull it out to the tip of the blade and nothing. It's when you hit it going back the other way that it cuts you.
Now, tell us about elephant grass. What is that?
It's grass. The blades are about this big, and it's taller than me. I'm 6 foot tall. It's I shouldn't curse. It's some big grass.
And you had to go through the grass on your missions, and the enemy was in there, or you just
we had to go through it if it was in our path towards where we were going. And also one time we started through this huge plantation of red chilies, about that long, little red chili, just hot as fire. And I'm going, oh, this is wonderful. I'm collecting me a store as we go, you know, and then I hear screaming ahead. And if you had a cut and a leaf of that brushed on it, you know, that really hurts. But eventually, then it happened to every one of us, it would get in the sweat running down into your eyes, and that's when the running and screaming began. And we all came out the other end of that field running and screaming. And it was horrible. Another thing that, example of the jungle attacking you is the soldier ants. They will form this huge mass on an overhanging limb that's overhanging a game trail. These ants are hunting for, like, snakes, animals that go down this trail, wild boar, who knows what out there, you know. And what they do is when something goes under it, a big clump of them fall off onto it, and if you can't get them off soon enough, they sting you into food. Now you're their food. So we would run screaming through that again.
And did they necessarily tell you about this, or you had to find this out on your own as you went out in the jungle?
We could tell by the screaming ahead of us. The poor point man, he was always in for surprises, but the rest of us, we could tell by the screaming and running that, or whatever, that something was going on. But another thing that was horrible would be in the rainforests. You'd be going down a trail, and converging on the trail are thousands of land leeches. And these things can stretch out so thin that they can get in your boot through an eyelet that's already laced up. And just unbelievable, they'll get on you. No way to stop them. And you're picking them off your pant leg, they're on the way to your jugular veins as you go, and there's more running and screaming probably there too.
Now did you have to live in this environment? Did you camp in that environment?
Camping in a land leech environment requires a lot of foot powder. You make a circle, an oval of foot powder all around where you're sleeping, and they cannot crawl through that. If you put foot powder right on the leech, it like dissolves them. Salt will do the same thing. So if you ran out of foot powder, you continued in salt. But they could not crawl through that to get on you there. There's only one set of footprints going down that trail, and they're big, fat footprints, and everyone's walking right in those. That's the only ground proven not to blow up when you step on it.
Is that something you learned? They taught you
Real quick, yes.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Don't get off the path.
Nobody wants you to get blown up, especially if you're up there in front of them. So I learned little tricks like that.
How long did it take you to learn those little tricks?
Not long at all. Those are like folk legends handed down from the old troops to the new troops. And they constantly keep going. Like you hear, you can get out of the army if you wet the bed. You hear all these how-tos, you know. I never went for that one, but